we'll be making up for a lot of lost time, so it will be something special.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Belgian Jasper. If you are on this channel for the first time, hit subscribe right now. Memories of Old is the newest power metal sensation to come out of the UK. This is a band formed by Billy Jeffs featuring members of Nightmare World and Sabaton. The debut album, The ZERAMIN Game, is out now and it brings this really cool power metal opera. And I'm gonna talk to keyboard player Anthony Thompson to tell us more about the world of Exia.
Anthony, congratulations on the debut album. It's been out now for a few weeks, 2-3 weeks. How are the reactions so far?
So far, it's been incredible. Everything is just surpassed all our expectations, really. In the lead up to this release, with the first 3 singles that came out, the reception was really good, especially off of Someday Soon. It was the first single that was actually from the album, so the response to that was really great, and it was the first new music we had put out in, I guess, nearly a year or so since the previous single. From that point, it was just growing and growing, and it was getting better and better, and off the back of that, we knew that we were looking at what would hopefully be a really good release, but it just blew our expectations out of the water, really. So it's been amazing. Like,
now that you mentioned Someday Soon, not just the single but also on the album, I think it's definitely, you know, one of those standout tracks. It's a very catchy song.
Someday soon we'll sail across the ocean. Someday soon we'll go down in history.
This is a concept album. The album kicks off like a lot of concept albums would do, with almost an overture or some intros, but it really, you know, explodes with The Land of Exia, which is quite the epic power metal song. And it, you know, there has like a sci-fi element to it, but then near the end of the song, all of a sudden it's almost like a magic trick where the curtain gets pulled from our eyes and we're all of a sudden in a although a space version, a pirate metal epic story. There's a lot of folk influences all of a sudden, and the pirate piece is a very integral part to the story. So for those that haven't, you know, listened to the album just yet, can you give us a bit of a synopsis of what the story is about?
I'll do my best. So basically, the story is about it's a land called the Land of Exia, hence the first track setting the scene, and it follows the story of a young boy named V. He has these dreams of a hero that's going to, you know, basically save the world and like be a hero of the land. But obviously, he doesn't know who this hero is. He's as a child, like he was always kind of the outcast. Like he never really lived up to anyone's expectations, and obviously his parents were, you know, kind of not disappointed with him, but you know, he always felt he could do better in life. And obviously, he was haunted by these dreams. It was dreams of a faraway land called Zera, and it's obviously the following track. It's a place that was kind of lost in mystery and legend, and you know, no one dares go there, and it's you know, just shrouded in darkness. No one knows about it, and obviously it's just coming up in his dreams all the time. One of the other characters in the story, Fowlin, he's been seen to be going to the land of Zera and then coming back, and you know, he's basically like he's sort of like the Obi-Wan of this world, you know. Just like the recluse. Nobody really knows what he's doing, but he's kind of there. Yeah, V goes to see Fowlin and sort of just asks him, you know, to try and learn a bit more about Zera and try and understand his dreams, and basically gets warned off to never go there. It's obviously a dangerous place. But being a boy and an adventurous young lad, he decides to travel across the seas, go there and uncover the mystery himself.
You know, kids growing up as outcasts, which is not uncommon to any metalhead. Where does the inspiration of the story come from?
That's a very interesting story, actually. Basically, and this is going to sound really weird and bizarre, but it is the truth. The story came to Billy in a dream many years ago. Basically, he was just asleep on a boat going down a canal. Don't know why, he was just there. And he woke up and just had this story just all in his head, like the characters, the setting, what was happening and everything. So he basically just grabbed a pen and started writing it all down, and kind of just thought, oh well, I can do something with this. And his original idea, in fact, was to turn this into a book and just write a novel out of the story, which would have been amazing, obviously. When the time came for him to make this album, and when he decided to write a power metal album, obviously you've got all this epic music, and it's like, well, what can we do to go with it? And putting this story to that music kind of made sense at that point. So
okay, so the band was working on the music before the story was added to that.
In a sense, Billy was writing music for like power metal music for quite a long time. Not like every single song as you hear them now, but there was always ideas being thrown around, and little melodies that he would think, oh, that's cool, and put it on the shelf for later. Because obviously in the time he was and myself actually playing in Nightmare World, which is his fourth band, and I joined them like probably just before Memories of Old started kicking off. But a lot of the music he was writing, all of this epic symphonic power metal, didn't really fit that style. So it was just something he was doing for fun, probably with the intention of doing an album eventually, but never really got around to doing it. So yeah, it was kind of a combination of this stuff that he just had lying around, like all these song ideas and melodies and stuff, and this story, and then just kind of put it together and went from there, really. So the thing Billy always wanted to do with this album is to write something that he enjoyed listening to as a fan. So that was always his goal. So obviously there's always going to be these bits of music that just work their way in there because it's just something he enjoys. So I dare say, like, if you're writing music and you're writing something that you yourself will enjoy listening to, then you're doing something right, because people that like that style of music, surely they're going to enjoy it as well. So
yeah.
Nobody knows the terror of this dreadful place beyond the clouds. We're just the bravest go, but never to return. With Zera, stay a secret till the end of time.
The singer of the band is Tommy Johansson, who is obviously a driving force behind Majestica, but probably most known as one of the guitar players of Sabaton. Tommy is a busy guy. Sabaton is one of the most active bands around. How is that going to work?
When this all first started, when Tommy first came on board, obviously it was just a cool thing with, like, he's singing on the album, and that was kind of where that was. Like, we didn't want to overstep, and Billy didn't want to suddenly say, oh, are you going to play shows with us? Because that wasn't a thought at the start. It was just, oh my god, Tommy's singing on the album, how cool is that? But as things moved on and as we started thinking about the live thing, obviously, yes, it did come up. And from the conversation we had with Tommy, it's essentially, if he has the time, then he'll be there. Failing that, if he can't, because obviously, like, Sabaton is a machine that just keeps moving, you can't stop that. So if they're doing something and an opportunity comes along for us, then yeah, I mean, the show must go on, so we'll probably get someone to fill in. Just someone that can do the songs justice. Obviously, we'd love to play every show with Tommy, but we're very realistic about the fact that might not happen. So, as a band, I think it's a nice thought that a lot of our fan base, I mean, having a name like Tommy, like, people, they come for Tommy, but they stay for us, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. And I like the fact that you keep using the word band, not just Tommy, but everybody has played in a lot of different bands and also continues to play in other bands. So people will easily think, oh, this is a project, or this is a super band. But this is very much an actual band. When
it started, it wasn't really planned that way. Because Billy's main goal when he started this was he wanted to write and record a full power metal album all on his own and just say, like, this is my thing. Obviously, with the inclusion of Tommy and the reception that we were getting from a lot of the songs, it became clear really quickly that there was too much potential here to just let it fade into just another project. So just turning it into a full-time band, which it now is, just felt like the logical choice, and obviously we're all more than happy with that. So yeah,
the album has a lot of orchestration, there's a lot of melodies, you also use a lot of different sound effects, and there's spoken word on the album just to kind of create the whole story more. Bringing that live can be a challenge. So how do you as a keyboard player go around that? Are you reinventing the songs so that they are a little bit more tight, or what's your plan to bring these songs to life?
I mean, when we were preparing for our first show, I went through several plans actually, and it is definitely challenging. But me and Billy, and probably the rest of the band as well, we've all had this thing that when you go to see a band live, like, you want to experience those songs in their fullest. Like, if you don't have that that full sound, or maybe there's that sound effect missing, or there's a sound that sounds a bit different. Yes, it can be seen as part of the live experience, but at the same time, we wouldn't want to disservice anyone by not giving them what they've heard on the album in a live setting.
Yeah.
So the goal from the very start, before we even knew how we were going to do it, was we want everything to sound exactly as it does on the album when we play it live. Which, as I say, was a big challenge. The way I've approached that, basically, is anything that's sound effects, voiceovers, or anything, obviously is going to have to be on a backing track. It's all lined up to a click track, so it's all there, and there's no issues with timing on anything. And then really it's just a matter of pulling out as much as I can from the actual keyboard parts that two hands can physically play. So whatever's left after that, if there's anything else, then obviously we'll just stick that on the backing track as well, just so it's there and we get the full experience. But yeah, it's important to us to have everything there, even though it is a technical nightmare to actually set up. But we've done it for one show and it worked really well. So I'm not really concerned now. I think we can manage that moving forward.
Okay.
So.
I won't give any spoilers, but that pirate element is really critical to the story. And so you needed a lot of sound effects, and you guys teamed up with Lagerstein to help you guys out. There's a surprising amount of pirate metal bands out there. How did you guys end up working with the crazy guys from Australia?
I mean, I've been a big fan of theirs for a very long time, even before I knew Billy or before I was even in Nightmare.
Okay.
We both mainly knew them from when we were both in Nightmare World. We opened for one of their shows in London, and obviously got to hang out with them a bit there. And they're just really cool guys. And I think when the thought came up that obviously we needed these pirate elements on there, it was just like you don't even need to think about it. It's like, oh yeah, let's ask these guys, because they'll totally be up for that. And they were, so we just asked them what we wanted, like, can you just do like these little pirate parts for us, and like a big ending for the track.
It would be cool if at one day all the stars aligned and you can have Tommy singing on the live show and have the Lagerstein guys come do their parts on the stage as well.
So the thought has definitely crossed my mind. If we happen to play the right festival with the right people,
Yeah, no, for sure. You've created this world now. Is it the plan of the band to explore the world of Exia more, or is this the story and we're gonna look at something else next time?
Obviously, not counting for any spin-offs down the line. This album is what it is, and that story is what it is. So when we move on to our second album, it probably will be more straightforward, just some really cool tracks, and just lend ourselves a bit more to just some cool songwriting, really. I think it would be nice for people to see like the two sides of the band. Obviously, a lot of bands maybe wouldn't start with a concept album, or maybe do it the other way around, but either way, like people really love this album, so I think giving them a taste of the music in a more open context would be really cool.
Okay, cool. At the different parts in the album, it gets tied nicely together by narration as well. I couldn't find the information. Who's the narrator that you're using?
So the narrator is a chap named John Redden, actually from over in the States, and basically when Billy was doing the first track for Land of Exia, when we wanted to release a single, he knew that obviously there was this narration part, and he really wanted that sort of that Christopher Lee style voice, similar to Rhapsody, of course. So basically, he went on the website Fiverr and just looked for voice actors just to find someone who might be able to do this. John was on there literally offering Christopher Lee impressions. So Billy asked him and said, "Well, can you read this and just let's see how it sounds." And to be honest, straight away it just sounded like, well, that's what we need, really.
Centuries of uncertainty, wonder and fear. Just one claim to power unjustly seized by the dreaded and loathsome fiends, the pirates of the seas.
You might not find much information about him because he's just a humble guy from Fiverr, but no, he really did a great job on this album. So
yeah, absolutely, he sounds phenomenal.
If the opportunity comes up that we need narration again for any reason, I'm sure we'll probably have him back. So
okay, another person that you worked with for the album is Felipe Franco, who has done the artwork. Felipe has worked a lot of the greats in power metal, Rhapsody of Fire being one of them, Iron Savior. How did you meet him? How did that happen?
We did contact a couple of people and just sort of got the feels out there when we was doing the first artwork for the single. So we thought we'd just give him a shout and just see what he can do. When we got the first concepts through for the Land of Exia cover, it was kind of from that point it was like, well, this is great. This is where we're going to go. And obviously we've then worked on him for Zera's Shadow. He did the artwork for our crowdfund campaign, Fallon's Army, as well. Obviously, naturally, he was going to be the one that did the album artwork.
Yeah.
There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of changes, and can we maybe change this, change that? But yeah, it was all worth it, and in the end, it really paid off. So I think comparing it to some of his other artworks, and this is going to sound really biased, but personally, I think this is one of the best ones he's done. Just because not only because it's ours, but I think the overall scheme and the color and everything is just. It really hits you in the face,
Right, awesome. Right now, there's not a lot that we can do in the world when it comes to promoting the album. There's been singles, there's been some videos, there's been some live streams as well. You guys are very active in your, online fan community as well. Are there things coming up that the fans should know about?
I mean, there will always be things happening, but we're kind of just playing it by ear at the moment. Like, there's a lot of plans in place, but nothing concrete. But yeah, we do try and engage with our fan base a lot. Really just keep that personal connection going. So if and when things come up, like, they'll know about it straight away.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, exciting stuff. And hopefully we can. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long to see you guys play live again. Whether or not that is with Australian Pirates on stage or not. We'll see.
Yeah, watch this space. When we do finally get out there and we do finally get to play, we'll be making up for a lot of lost time. So it will be something special.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you.
Right.
You are awesome for watching that video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.